Now that my rafters are in place, it's time to do some blocking. So I am going to start on the back of this woodshed because that's going to take 2x6s. And in the front here, I can get away with 2x4 blocking because I notched out that front header for those rafters to sit in. Now I had to make these kind of custom widths on these rafters. So I have to measure each one and cut boards to fit there. This first one in the back is 25 5/8 inches. So I rounded up a bunch of kind of shorter scraps of 2x6, and I always start with the shortest because long boards are handy. So if I can save those for future projects, I like to do that. Here's my shortest one. I've marked out 25 5/8. Now I'm going to cut it and place it. And voila, fits in there quite nicely. It's sitting actually just below the lip in the front and flush with it in the back. And what that means is that anything that sits on top there is not going to get in the way. On to the next. Here's a good looking little shorty board, but one end of it has this wicked looking knot running through it. So I'm going to measure my 25 3/4 measurement, which is what that next one is, from that side so I can cut this off and not have to worry about it, because knots are annoying. Not only are knots kind of a problem to put hardware through, but they actually offer a structural weak point in your wood. So even though this is just blocking, it's just good practice to avoid them when you can. So securing blocking can be kind of annoying when you're doing it flush like this. When I block the rest of this, I'm going to stagger them, so this won't be an issue. But for this one, I came in directly from the outside over here, and then directly from the outside over here. But now that I have this board in place, I had to be creative because I couldn't do that. So I went in at an angle from here and wound up catching the meat of that board at an angle. And then over here, because when you can go in straight, it's better, I did do that. Then of course I'll add another one on each side. All right, I'm all blocked across the back. Now I'm gonna go to the front and do that with the 2x4s. A word about this front blocking. So I can get away with these 2x4s, like I mentioned, because this header is notched on the back side to allow those 2x6s to sit in there. Ideally, you don't want to do that. Ideally, you want to block dimension matching wood. But this is fine, and really the blocking is to prevent the top from moving around, warping and twisting and all of that. So because I've sat these 2x4s at the top, it's going to do that just fine. All right, front and back blocking is completed. Now I'm going to come along and I'm going to do 2 rows of blocking across the middle, which will put my blocking approximately every 4 feet, which is plenty sufficient for what I'm doing here. I am feeling pretty accomplished. My blocking is now completed. And as I was saying I was going to do, I did stagger these, and that allowed me to put 2 screws straight in from either side wherever possible. And then I kind of toenailed the rest. And in some of these, see, you got to remember, these boards that I'm using are used. So because that, they're kind of warped. So this is one case where I used that to my advantage because I was able to come in from the gap here and put the hardware down into the board from a little more optimal angle than I would otherwise have been able to do.